I did not see that one coming story? I was 23 working night security at this fancy office building downtown. Boring job. Just walk around empty floors, check doors, watch Netflix on my phone. Pay was decent for basically doing nothing all night, and I needed the money after dropping out of college. There was this one office on the 14th floor where someone always left their computer on. Every night for 8 months, same blue glow under the door. I figured some workaholic forgot to shut down. Happens all the time in these corporate places. Probably some finance guy pulling all-nighters. Then I started noticing weird stuff. Coffee cups that weren't there during my 11 p.m. round but appeared by 2 a.m. Fresh ones, still warm. Half-eaten sandwiches that would vanish by morning. Sometimes I'd smell microwaved food in the hallway. The janitors only came Wednesdays, and this was happening every single night. I mentioned it to my supervisor Dave, thinking maybe day shift was missing someone staying late. He just shrugged and said the building was definitely empty after 10 p.m. All key cards get deactivated automatically, doors lock, alarm system arms itself. Must be the cleaning crew, he said, but I knew that wasn't right. I'd seen their schedule. One night, I'm doing my usual check when I hear typing. Actual keyboard clicking from that same office. Not the random beeping of a computer updating, but someone actively working, fast typing, like someone on a deadline. I freeze outside the door. Building's supposed to be dead empty. Only me and the occasional maintenance guy who always signs in at the front desk. I knock. Hello? Building security. Typing stops immediately. Complete silence. I can practically feel someone holding their breath on the other side. I wait a full minute, then use my master key and open the door. Office is completely empty, but the computer's still warm and there's a half-eaten turkey sandwich on the desk. Coffee's still steaming in a mug that says, "World's okayest employee." I check the bathroom, under the desk, behind the filing cabinets, in the supply closet, everywhere. Nobody. But someone was definitely just here seconds ago. Then I notice the ceiling tile directly above the desk is slightly crooked, like someone pushed it back into place quickly and didn't quite line it up right. I grab the desk chair and climb up, pushing the tile aside. A whole section slides away like a hidden door. This dude in a sleeping bag pokes his head down like, "Oh, hey man, this is awkward." I nearly fall off the chair. "What the hell are you doing up there?" "Living," he says simply. Turns out he'd been living in the ceiling for almost a year. Lost his apartment when his startup failed. Discovered the crawl space during a job interview for this same company, and just never left. His plan was to crash at friends' places, but pride got in the way, and this seemed easier. He'd mapped out the entire building's ventilation system like some kind of architectural ninja. Knew exactly when security made rounds, where all the cameras were, which bathrooms had motion sensors. During the day, he'd sleep in the space above the server room because it was warm, and nobody ever went up there for maintenance. After hours, he'd drop down to use the computer and bathroom, sometimes shower in the executive gym on weekends when the building was completely dead. He'd been applying for jobs, doing freelance graphic design work, basically running a whole life from inside the ceiling. The interview went great, he explained, still hanging upside down like some corporate bat. They said they'd call me back, but then the position got frozen. Budget cuts. I was supposed to leave, but I saw the ceiling access during the building tour and thought maybe I'd just stay one night until I figured things out. One night turned into a week turned into a month, and suddenly he'd been up there almost a year. Security cameras never caught him because he'd studied the entire system during his building tour. Knew every blind spot, every angle when the cameras rotated. He'd even figured out how to access the employee fridge on different floors without triggering motion sensors. I was supposed to call the cops immediately. This was breaking and entering, trespassing, probably a dozen other crimes. But looking at this guy hanging from the ceiling in a sleeping bag, just trying to survive, I couldn't do it. How long were you planning to live up there? Just until I got back on my feet. Maybe another month or two. I've got some freelance projects coming through. I closed the ceiling tile and told him we never had this conversation, but I started bringing him leftover pizza from my dinner breaks. Sometimes coffee in the morning before my shift ended. Guy was living off vending machine food and whatever he could sneak from the break rooms. Best part, 6 months later, he actually got hired by the same company. Budget opened up, they remembered his interview, and now he works in that exact office legitimately. Same desk where I found his sandwich. He still sends me Christmas cards with jokes about looking up old friends. His business card says senior graphic designer, but I know the truth. Sometimes when I walk past his office during day shifts, I still glance up at that ceiling tile and smile.